To begin with today, we will discuss mental health, welfare, and well-being in construction. In conjunction with the Lighthouse Construction Industry Charity, Roadbridge piloted the Construction Industry Helpline in Ireland. The helpline, now fully live, offers 24/7 support to construction workers and their family. The following video, put together by Bill Hill, Chief Executive of the Lighthouse Charity, highlights the importance of mental health and what we can do to help others that may be struggling at this time. We'd like to thank Bill and his team for working with us both for today's video and the invaluable contribution they are making in our industry. We look forward to continuing our association with them in the future. Now, over to Bill.
Our charity is delighted to be working with your company in partnership with the Construction Industry Federation and Construction Safety Week to bring you this introduction to mental well-being in our industry. Our charitable work has never been so important or so urgently needed, given the current pandemic crisis. Hopefully, by watching this short session, you will be compelled to do more to not only improve your own well-being, but to also help others that are struggling. So let's get started. First of all, let's start with the why. Why are we focusing on mental health within construction? This short video coming up next was created for our charity and combines research from the UK and Ireland and clearly demonstrates why we should all be taking action now.
The construction industry is a pretty dangerous place to work. Every year 40 people get killed on site. There's around about 2,000 people get injured in such a way that they can't actually go back to do the job that they were doing in the first place. But the statistics that really has hit the industry is the unveiling of the fact that 1/5 of the workforce at any one time is off because of stress, anxiety or depression, and every single working day we lose 2 construction workers to suicide. We have to do something about it in a big way. I think construction's got its own particular issues when we look at mental health. One, it's 87% male dominated, so there's a very macho environment and many of the projects are away from home. So you've got the stresses and strains of being away from the family and living in difficult accommodation sometimes. The other fact is that 53% of the workforce are self-employed. So they're always looking to see where the money's going to come from next and the next project. You add all that up together, it's a very difficult environment. My big message to the industry is there's no health without mental health. You've got to do something about making sure you've got a program to ensure the mental health of your workforce, your subcontract workforce, and their subcontracted workforce beyond that are included in your whole mental health program, because if you look after them, they will look after your business.
As you can see, the evidence is overwhelming, and we should all feel morally obligated to do something about improving the environment and culture within our industry to help everyone get through this difficult period. Instead of striving for the new normal, let's aim to achieve a new better. Many of you watching this presentation will know somebody that is struggling with their mental health, especially in the current pandemic crisis. But perhaps you have felt ill-equipped to do something to help. There is no way in this short presentation we will be able to cover this vast topic. But if you can take away a few helpful hints and it encourages you to do something, then it's a great start to a road to well-being in our industry. So, what is mental health and what can you do to help others? Mental health is something we all have. It is the way we think and the way we feel and how we address challenges in our lives. When mental health is poor, we might find ourselves unable to cope. Around 1 in 6 of us experience the symptoms of stress, anxiety or depression in any given week. This is absolutely normal, and the majority of us have found coping strategies to ensure these stresses of daily life do not build up. But for others, it can be too much. It can be hard to detect when somebody is experiencing a mental health problem. They may not even be aware of what's happening themselves. People can feel a need to hide their feelings as they might be ashamed in coming forward. If someone doesn't seem to be themselves, particularly if you know other issues are affecting their lives outside work, it's good to check in and see if they're all right. You might notice that somebody is more angry or irritable than usual, or that they are isolating themselves and hiding away. Mental health can seem like a really daunting subject to talk about, but we've all had conversations with colleagues and friends about bereavement, breakups, and other life events. We simply use the same skills to talk about mental health. When a person isn't coping, they really need colleagues to reach out to them with warmth and compassion. It can really help if you set aside 10 minutes to have a proper chat. Find a space where you know you can have the conversation and that you will not be interrupted. It might be that somebody wants to go outside for a walk, or they might want to get a coffee at the canteen. It's really up to them, and you should be guided by them. It can be really difficult making the initial approach, but don't feel awkward reaching out to somebody and they give you the brush off. If you've made a mistake and they're actually fine, the worst that can happen is that they think you're a nice person who has noticed how they feel. If you are having a conversation, it is so important to give your full attention to the person you're listening to. That means no distractions. Turn your phone off and make sure you will not be disturbed. Maintain eye contact, but don't overdo it because it makes some people feel uncomfortable. This sometimes happens when you talk about difficult subjects. Adopting an open posture is also helpful. Try mirroring their behaviour and keeping your feet on the ground. These are all ways to help you focus on what is being said. Be relaxed. This helps you come across as being genuine and engage with what they're saying. You can ask questions to clarify to show that you're listening, but don't push it if people don't want to discuss details. When the conversation comes to an end, it's really important to recap what you have discussed and go over any actions that you have agreed. Then make sure you do what you said you are going to do, as this makes a person know that they have been heard and appreciated. If a person is very upset at the end of the conversation, you might want to encourage them to call a close friend or a family member, or even their doctor. Some conversations can be very difficult, and if you feel the discussion is getting too much for you to deal with, you might want to encourage the person to call a confidential helpline. There are many free helplines on a whole host of subjects, and many of these can be found in the Construction Industry Helpline app, including the dedicated 24/7 Construction Industry Helpline operated by the Lighthouse Construction Industry Charity. Sadly, we have some way to go in construction to create a safe culture for people to talk about mental health. But by reaching out to people who are not coping, you can do a lot to improve the culture and even possibly save a life. So to recap, we all have mental health. It's a combination of the way we think, the way we feel at a certain time. That might be angry, happy, sad. In fact, our conscious and subconscious thoughts defines who we are. There are many people with severe difficulties that are extremely positive and have good mental health. And there are many others that seem to have everything you could possibly want, but have poor mental health. I would go so far as to say that there is no health without mental health. However, the fact still remains, we all have mental health in the same way we all have physical health. The only difference is that we have a better understanding of physical health and find it easier to talk about it and show compassion and empathy. Fame or fortune does not make you immune to mental ill health. It really doesn't matter how famous someone is, how much money they have, how talented they are, how funny they are, or how physically strong they are. Mental ill health can affect anyone at any time. But one of the biggest problems is that we don't talk about it. And this is where you can help to get the conversation started. So what can you do to help start the conversation? Well, you need to muster up the courage to make the approach. You will need to find a good place to talk, free from interruptions. You need to listen without judgment. It's easy to say, but very difficult to do. You need to reassure the person you're talking to, and either signpost them to help or encourage them to seek help. Sometimes just being there for them is all they need. However, one thing is clear: it is almost impossible to look after others if you're not feeling good yourself. We can all learn from the past. We can all plan for the future, but the only place we actually exist is in the here and now. So stay connected to the present. Talk, listen, feel connected. This is especially difficult given the current pandemic limitations on our once taken for granted liberties. But you can still give time, your presence, your words to the people that are important to you. Look up sometimes and just take joy in your surroundings. So get outdoors and enjoy the beauty of nature. Look up and around you, not at your phone. Everything is so much easier to tackle when you've had a decent sleep. So make sure you get the rest your body and mind needs. Give new things a try. Every day is a school day. Be active. Make time for the things that you enjoy and improve your mood. Take regular exercise. This is hugely important. It releases the natural drugs in your body that make you feel good. Watch what you eat. I cannot stress enough the importance of a good diet. If you put bad food in your high-performing engine, it will misfire. Build your confidence. It's okay not to be okay, but don't get locked into being a victim. Take control. De-stress by trying to forget about the things that you cannot control and concentrate on the areas that you can. Work on your friendships. This is probably the most important. Humans are social animals, and we need a good close circle of friends that accept us for who we are. Friends that we can be honest with about our feelings without being judged. Remember, the only person you have to live with all your life is yourself. Make sure you enjoy being you. So, what can our charity do to help? We are delighted to be working with you on this important issue, but some may not have heard about our charity and might be wondering who we are. Our charity is the only charity that is 100% dedicated to the welfare and well-being of the construction workforce and their families in the UK and Ireland. We have been in existence over 60 years, and in that time we have helped thousands of construction families in crisis. Our charity has one single mission. We believe that no construction worker or their families should be alone in a crisis. We provide proactive and reactive support services to all construction workers and their families, and we believe our services should be free for everyone to access. We receive no public funding, and all of our charitable support is funded by our industry for the people working in our industry. We provide a free 24/7 confidential helpline and a supporting self-help app. This can be found in both the Android and Apple Play stores, and it is called Construction Industry Helpline. It is available to everyone in construction in the UK and Ireland. This helpline and the app combine to provide reactive support to anyone in a crisis, giving information, advice and guidance on a whole host of topics covering mental, physical and financial well-being, as well as giving access to hardship grants to relieve poverty. This is like a free employee assistance program for all construction workers and their families that simply do not have access to any other support. Our services provide a safety net for our industry workforce and their families should they have nowhere else to turn. We also provide proactive well-being development workshops for anyone in our industry to attend. These short 1 hour long interactive workshops are also free and will help you develop your skills around resilience, stress management, mindfulness, work-life balance, financial planning and effective communication. And finally, we are working with the industry on a programme to enlist and train on-site well-being champions. These individuals will be the go-to people on site that you can talk to face in the understanding that your conversation will be confidential and they will help signpost you to get further help. As you can see from this picture, we are on a mission to surround every construction worker or their family with somewhere to go with their problem should they have nowhere else to turn, so they are never alone with their crisis. So to summarise, we all have mental health. Mental health problems are common, even more so in construction, and can affect anyone at any time. It's stigma that stops us talking, so let's get the conversation going. It takes courage to talk about how you really feel. Look after your own mental health and look out for others. We all need to work together to change the way we look at mental health. participating in courses such as stress management, resilience training, mindfulness, and meditation should be seen as going to the gym for your head. After all, I think everyone will agree, if you have a sound mind, you will have a safer sight. There has been a lot covered in this short session on this vast subject, but let me leave you with a few thoughts on how you can take action to help today by following these 3 golden rules. 1. Always ask twice. Everyone has emotional intelligence, and you will recognise when one of your work colleagues is struggling. Don't simply walk by. Ask if they're all right. But don't ask once, ask twice. Sometimes you will get a different answer the second time around. There is no downside to doing this. If there is nothing wrong, they will only think of you as a decent person looking to help. But if there is something wrong, make sure you have the time to listen, which brings us to the second golden nugget. Seek to understand before you seek to be understood. It is so easy to dismiss other people's problems when you reflect on your own experience. You have to realise that everyone has different capabilities and different experience. And just because their problem would not be a problem to you, it is very real to them. So spend time allowing them to fully articulate their issue and try to listen non-judgmentally, which is incredibly difficult, before responding with empathy and support. And number 3, and finally, always be kind. There is no reason to be unkind to another human being. Even if you have to deliver a tough message, try to think what it would be like for you to receive that message and moderate it accordingly. These simple golden rules are easy to say and difficult to live by, but please try, and we all have a part to play. Let's create a future where no one is made ill by their work. Let's join together and commit construction to a healthier future for this generation and the next. There is a vast difference between a human being and being human. At the end of the day, this current global pandemic crisis is pushing our human spirit to the limit. But you will be amazed of what we can achieve by simply helping each other.
Don't forget about the safety of your mental health. The Lighthouse Club are running a series of workshops free of charge for the rest of the year, including a mental health awareness and well-being sessions on balancing life and work, mindfulness, building resilience, managing stress, introduction to meditation. To take part in these, go to the website and register. Remember to download the Construction Industry Helpline app, where you will learn more on stress, anxiety, depression, resilience management, and tools to help. They also run a 24/7 hotline and can be reached in the UK and Ireland. Roadbridge. People, engineering, infrastructure.